Hi everybody, I'm Bobby with Blessings with a Bow. We're out of Lake City, Texas, and this is our first video for YouTube, so welcome to our channel. We are going to go over how to make bows tonight, and to do that we're going to actually use our hands, and we are going to tie wired ribbon with our hands to make a beautiful bow. So welcome to our page. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. It's Blessings with a Bow. And our Etsy is Blessings with Bows at Etsy.com. And be sure to follow us on Facebook to catch all of our free online classes. There's never a cost for them, and we would love for y'all to join us. Check out our events. Under events, and it'll have everything listed there. So tonight we're going to go over several different bows, several different ribbons, just to kind of give everybody an idea of how to tie a bow simply. So the first thing we're going to do is I want to show y'all some of the different kinds of materials. So I love to use the wired ribbon, and this is actually a little girl's hair bow that I've had a class on tonight, and you can check that out on my Facebook page as well. But I really enjoy the wired ribbon. I like it simply because if it gets smashed, if clothes get set on top of this little girl's hair bow, all you have to do is just take your fingers underneath the ribbons and actually fluff them back up. And it's as good as new. I also do this with my Christmas bows, so that when I take them off the Christmas tree, I flatten them and put them in a box, and then every year when I take them out, I can just fluff them back up, and they look brand new for your Christmas tree. So that's just a little hint. As I go along my videos, I'll definitely give y'all pointers to watch out for, things to keep an eye on, so that it'll make your life easier in the bows. Also, what I like to do is when I'm tying bows is I like to use pipe cleaners. I get them in all different variations of colors. There's glittered ones, there's solid, soft ones, and they're just pipe cleaners. You can find them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Be sure to check those out too, the variety of colors, and I try to just get one the closest to match to my ribbons. And as you can see on my back wall, I actually do tons of wreaths and ship them all over the United States. So definitely keep things moving around here. So I'm going to get started with a couple different ones tonight. The first one I want to work with is that little small wired ribbon. Now it comes in, of course, all ribbons, there's a variation of colors and thickness, and some have glitter, some don't, some are satin. I use these a lot. This is just satin ribbon. It's a royal blue satin, and I use this a lot on homecoming mums, and I'll show y'all how to tie one of these as well. So let's start out with this one tonight. So what I do is when I'm doing my homecoming mums, I buy this ribbon by 50-yard rolls. The smaller rolls actually have 100. The larger rolls, like the number 40, which is about a 3-inch, it comes in 50-yard bolts. So right now, if you live in the Texas area, they are big into homecoming. A lot of the stores are starting to add their supplies, so you can find this ribbon actually for sale by the yard. It's already cut in 3-foot sections or 1-yard sections. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little bow, and there's always a shiny side, a good side to your ribbon, and then a dull side. So it's easier to tell on the printed ribbons because one side's usually dull, and then you have the other side that's got your shiny effects on it. So you always want to make sure that your good side is facing you. So you're going to take your bow down, and you're going to make a small tail, whatever size tail that you're wanting. And then you're going to crinkle it in, and you're just going to pinch it in. And then you're going to come up behind, and you're going to make a little loop. Pinch it in again. Take your ribbon and twist it a half a turn. You always want to face the good side of your ribbon back toward yourself. So then you come directly across from that, come back up behind, take it, pinch it in, crinkle it a half a turn, come back on the other side, and each time you make a loop for your bow, you actually want to increase that loop size by just a little bit. This actually is going to give you your fullness to your bow when you're done. Now when I'm doing these small little tiny bows, I call these little accent bows, and I usually do 3 or 4 loops on either side, twisting it a half a turn, coming back down to the other side, twisting it a half a turn, coming up, and about 4 loops, graduating my size. And I'll show y'all here before I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and I'll show you all. a close-up on this. So you can tell that I started out kind of small, and then each time graduating those loops just a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. Now I'm going to take my actual pipe cleaner and I'm going to put it around the center of where I'm holding it in between my fingers, wrapping it around, coming behind, taking it and twisting it very, very tight. Now by doing this, it allows you to be able to pull these little loops and turn them where you want to. So this ribbon is actually good for little girl hair bows, if you're doing little homecoming bows for a little child. I make a lot of these, and then I just take my wire cutters and cut it off, and then I hot glue these on my actual ribbons for my homecoming mums. And I'll show y'all. After you use your wire cutters and cut that ribbon, you can just take this pipe cleaner, flatten it to the side, and then glue it on your on your ribbon. And you can put it on top of a trinket, or you could use like a little girl's hair bow clip and put it on that as well, and make cute little bows for your daughter. I'll show you that as well. I actually had a bow class this afternoon on my Facebook page, and we use these little alligator clips. You can get these at Hobby Lobby or Michael's online. Put your hot glue on there and then attach it, and then you've got a beautiful little girl's hair bow. Now this size ribbon is actually good also for your boutonnieres. If you're doing a wedding, that's a good size. That is a 9/16 size of ribbon. It's non-wired satin, and then you would just take your pipe cleaner and actually wrap it around your flower, your rose stem, or whatever your boutonnieres are going to do. Now you can actually use this too for your wrist corsages or your Mother's Day corsages, wedding corsages, wrist corsages, anything like that. You would just put a few extra loops on there for your bigger bows. Okay, so that's our first bow for tonight. Now our next one that I want to show y'all is how to do a regular standard bow. Now, if I was doing one, say, for a wedding, I would use like a satin ribbon, and usually like whatever color thing they're going with, or you could use that. And then you're going to just tie about a 3 to 4 yard ribbon with that. I'm going to use orange tonight just so that you can see it and it's bright and colorful. Let me grab it real quick. So this is a satin. This is a number 9 satin. This is actually what we use for our streamers on our homecoming mums. And I'm just going to roughly measure off 4 yards. Now, an old school trick is when you're measuring ribbon, you can take it to the tip of your nose, turn your head slightly to the opposite side, and stretch it out as far as you possibly can. And then you measure that, and you're going to be right at 33 to 36 inches, which is a yard. So tentatively, on a 100-yard spool, you can get 25 bows for a wedding. So what you do is you take your ribbon and you make your little tail however long you want. And I use the orange just so you can see it. Now this is non-wired ribbon. So you're going to take it and you're going to crinkle it in. You're going to come up here, make a small loop. Now when you're tying your bows by hand, you start from the center of your bow and then work out to the size that you want it. If you're using an actual bow maker, which we will do another class on that at a later date, you start out from the outside of your bow and work down to the center. So that's the difference between tying bows with your hands versus using a bow maker. So then you're going to take your ribbon, you're going to take the shiny sides on the outside, you're going to take it half a twist, and you're going to bring that shiny side back to you, always keeping the good side of your bow, your ribbon, towards you. Coming back up, each time graduating that loop just a small little bit, crinkling it in, come to the other side, and you bring the ribbon back up. Take it to the center, turn it a half a turn, and just walking this ribbon back and forth, making sure that you have that twist in place so that as you graduate your loops, and then once you tie it off, you're able to pull those loops and make it as full as you want it. Now the trick is definitely holding between your fingers and your thumb all of those layers in between. Now as you get older, sometimes your hands get cramping, and a lot of people do move to the bow maker at that point just because you can use a multi-layered bow and not have any issues with your hands. But this is definitely an easy way just to keep walking it back and forth. Each time you can tell we start out small and gradually we've increased that size of our loops. And then you'll keep going until you get your down to the last little bit, and you want to have enough so that your tails kind of match. So I'm going to stop there because if I put another loop on there, it's going to make that tail just a little short. So I'll go ahead and stop there. Now for this one, I'm going to use a white pipe cleaner and we'll tie it off with that. So I'm taking my pipe cleaner, putting it to the back, wrapping it around, and then you take it and you pull it as tight as you possibly can, and you get that twist up as close as you can to the actual material. Reason being, because if you make this tight and snug, then when you come around here to the front of your bow and you start pulling on these loops, you pull one direction, one down, one up, and then you can kind of pull them apart, and that's what gives your bow the nice and fullness of it and the round part of it. Now this size bow is a 4-yard bow with a number, what they call a number 5 ribbon, and it is good to add to like little decorative tables, on lanterns, and then if you wanted to, I would always, whatever you do to your tails, so this one I cut with a V, so this one I'm going to V as well. So if you cut your tails at an angle like this, then just make sure that all your ends are cut at an angle. If you V them, some people fold it in half. I don't ever do that. I just take it, cut it halfway up, turn my scissors and come back down, and then I have a V in there. So whatever you do to one of your ribbons, you want all of them on that piece the same way, because that looks more professional and more complete. So then you have this beautiful little orange bow that you can add to a decorative piece. So now I want to show you how you can take and multi-layer your bows. So what I've got tonight is I have a 1.5 inch like deep orange. I have a turquoise leopard with a tinge of orange in the spots. So I'll show you all that. And then I have this brown, and it also has the leopard print in it with the turquoise. So I'm going to do a 3 multi-layered ribbon bow with these 3 ribbons. You've got a 1.5 inch, a 1.5 inch, and a 2.5 inch ribbon, and they're all wired. Okay? So I'm going to start out with my center, and I'm going to take it and put a little tail down. I'm going to take it and crinkle it in, make a small loop, crinkle it in, and I'm going to turn that a half a turn. Once again, always putting the good side ribbon towards you. And it's important, if you can get that turn down, that is what is going to save your big, beautiful bows. So we just angled that one, so we'll go ahead and angle this one as well. So now, to separate my colors, I'm going to add the turquoise. So I'm going to come, and this one has not been cut yet, so we'll cut that one here in a minute. And now I'm going to extend my tail a little bit longer than my last tail. Crinkle it in the center, come down, loop it, and I'm going to turn it a half a turn, come to the other side, make my loop, and I'm going to turn it a half a turn. Now, you could stop here, and then you could come back with your other color. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this, and I'm going to go ahead and V this other end while I'm doing it. Now you can wait till the end, not V it, but angle it, or you could wait till the end and go back and do all of them at one time. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with this deep orange one more time, and I'm going to add one more loop on either side with that. So I'm going to come down here once again, making my tail a little bit longer than my last tail, crinkling it in, making that loop, a half a turn, come down, making the loop, and a half a turn. Now I'm left-handed, so every time I switch my ribbons, I actually have to switch hands and cut because I use right-handed scissors. Years ago, when I was in school, many moons ago, kids made fun of you if you were left-handed. So the only thing I ever did was eat and write left-handed. Everything else I did right-handed. So it's just a habit that I cannot break. So when y'all see me switching hands, it's just because I have to cut with my right-handed scissors. So now I'm going to come back behind with this 2.5 inch. I love this ribbon. I've used it on a lot of fall projects already this year. And so I'm going to make this tail once again a little bit longer, crinkling it in. I'm going to come down and I'm going to make a loop. Now anytime I'm finishing a project or finishing a bow, I always want to end up with my big ribbon on the back. This gives it a good support so that these loops will stay firm up. Now they do have the wire in it, so you're really pretty safe with if you just put one loop, but I really like to put 4 loops, 2 on either side, when I'm finishing off with my 2.5 inch ribbon. So I'm going to take it. Now if I just looped it on the other side, you see that the bad print side of the material is facing out. So I have to twist turn that a half a turn to bring the right color of ribbon up, the printed side. So that's why you always have to do that half a twist. Each time you can see we've graduated our loops here. And then this is actually going to finish off this roll. And then I'm going to turn this a half a turn. We're to the end of this roll and we're going to cut this off. But before I drop this or let go of this, I'm actually going to tie this bow. We'll tie it with a dark pipe cleaner. Coming in between my fingers here, taking it, wrapping it around. And then this bow would actually be perfect size for a 18-inch mesh or 18-inch grapevine wreath. So it would be a great size for that size of a wreath. I'm going to angle or cut my tails, make sure all my tails are cut. So you just go through and make sure everything's cut. And this is what you have before you pull it out. So now I'm going to take it and I'm going to start pulling my little loops sporadically, one direction to the other. And now when I do my actual bows, I love to leave the tails out different directions. And I'll show y'all what I mean. So these tails are cut different lengths, and that's okay because that's what I want. And now you can make them all the same, whatever works for you or the piece that you're designing that you want it on. But I love putting them at different angles, and then I have my tails hanging down. Now depending on what piece I actually put this on, if I put this on a lantern, I do want this a little bit longer, so I would probably put some greenery down here and leave this tail this long. Now if I put it on a grapevine wreath, I'm going to want to cut a little bit off this tail just to kind of make it even with the other ones. But then you ended up with this beautiful multi-layered, multicolored bow. So definitely beautiful combinations of colors there. Now I do want to show y'all, when you're making bows and you get down to the tail end of your ribbons, don't throw those small pieces away. What I like to do is I get, when I get to the end of a roll and I have just a small piece left over, this for instance, this is a watermelon piece that I had left over. It was on the tail end of the ribbon. Now I know that this is not big enough to make a whole bow, but what I would do is take this, and because it's wired, I would bend it, fold it, nice and neat. And I would put this in an actual shoebox or a plastic tub, keeping all my small pieces so that when I get ready to do a multi-layered bow with a combination of this, then I can mix and match this ribbon with 2 or 3 other ribbons and make a beautiful bow like this. As long as you have enough of the ribbon left over, once you take it out of the box, just run your fingers down through it. It's just like new. Because I have enough here that I could crinkle this in, come back up. Let's make this tail just a little bit shorter. So what I probably would do is put a red striped in the center, put this layer next, and then layer a different color to the back of it. So as long as you have enough of your ribbon to make at least 2 loops on it, save it. With the prices of everything these days, you want to utilize your material and make it stretch as far as you can. And you definitely could do something with this size of a piece without just chunking it in the trash. So I'm going to save this for another date. Now some of the other bows that I have made that I wanted to show y'all, there's all different kinds of material layers, all different sizes. There's the satin ribbon, there's the sheer ribbon. This is one that I had made earlier on my live on Facebook. This is actually a sheer ribbon that you get in the wedding section. This one actually came from Hobby Lobby. I made a small little bow, put a clip on the back of it. It's perfect for a little girl for a wedding. So you could put that on there. You could use these on top of your gift packages. You could clip that on there. If you were doing a baby shower, you could make these and clip them on your packages, and then the mom can use them for their little girls for a later date. All kinds of cute little tricks that you can do with this sheer ribbon. And this ribbon also comes in a lot of different sizes, just to give y'all a heads up. Now something else I wanted to show y'all. So let's do a patriotic one and mix and match some different colors here. So we're going to use stars. So I've got a blue star, a red, white, and blue star. And then let's mix some red and white stripes in there. Okay? So we've got this red and white. So what I'm going to do is I like to usually put my 1.5, and then go to my 2.5 inch. So we'll start with the red and white striped. And we'll probably do this. We'll do the stars first, the red and white stripes, and then put the blue stars to kind of put stars on either end with the red and the white in the center. So let me open this one real quick. And then I'm just going to I'm just going to cut this at an angle here. And so I've got my ribbon, and I'm going to make a small tail. Crinkle it in, come up behind, crinkle it in a half a turn, because we're bringing that print back to us. Turning it half a turn, crinkling it in, and now we're going to cut it. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to put my red and white stripes. So I'm going to come back with this. This is not cut yet either. Making our tail a little bit longer, we'll come and put one loop, making it, graduating it a little bit in size, a half a turn, come on the other side, and then turning that, and now we're going to cut it. Now I'm going to come back with the blue and the white. Now this is our 2.5 inch, and I'm going to come and make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to put my loop, and then come back on the other side. Crinkle it in a half a turn, finishing it off with the 2 loops. Now, if I needed this to be even bigger, I could definitely go back and put another layer of the red and blue, red, white, and blue stars, and then come back with the red and white stripe, and then come back with another layer of the blue. You could definitely do that as well. So now I'm gonna still holding it all tight in the center, taking it, putting the pipe cleaner between my fingers, wrapping it all the way around, coming to the back, making sure I've got all my ribbons there, tie it, twist tie it. And I like to turn them at least 4 or 5 twists to make sure it's nice, secure, and tight. Now you want to make sure too that your pipe cleaner is as tight as you can get up against that ribbon. When you do that, that gives you the freedom that once your bow is tied off, then you can pull these loops around and be a little aggressive with it. And then your ribbons are not going to come out and it's not going to shift with you. But if you don't tie it tight, then it definitely can shift and it'll throw your whole bow off. And sometimes you even have to start over. So I'm cutting that tail. And then we've got a cute stars, stripes, and stars ribbon. Now I've done this with cow print, with bandana print, so you've got this beautiful little bow. This is a perfect size bow for an 18-inch grapevine. I use these a lot on my wreaths, and usually I'll put like 2 bows on there, like an accent bow. Here's a wreath that I did, and I used a smaller accent bow at the top. I'll just show you guys. So I used a small accent bow up here at the top of the flowers, and then I used a bigger bow down here at the bottom underneath my sign. So mix and match, adding them a smaller one up top. So what I did is a 1.5 inch for my accent, 1 loop on either side, coming back with my other color, finishing it with 2 loops on either side. And then the big one, I added a bunch more ribbon at the bottom, usually 2 loops of each one. And then sometimes I'll double layer that color scheme to give me a bigger, fuller bow. So it just depends on what size ribbon you're using, and then what your actual pieces that you're making, how much ribbon you actually need. So ribbon comes in all different sizes. You can get it down to like the 11/16, like super, super tiny. Fray, which is like a grosgrain ribbon, which is like this. This ribbon is really good to making little girls' hair bows. It's flimsy. It does not have any wire in it. And you just use this and actually tie it like a shoestring tie. And then I was teaching this earlier too, that when you do this, then you can glue this to a hair tie or a hair clip, and then come back and put some kind of an embellishment on it to do little girls' hair bows. So this is just grosgrain. You've got your nice little tie here. That way all your little loops are the same. You can cut these little tails off and then come back with a bigger hair clip and actually make you a beautiful little hair piece for a child. You can hot glue that on there, and then you could get like a big Mickey Mouse ear and put in the center of this. Would be a super cute, or a big yellow button for Mickey Mouse. Be super, super cute hair bows, and then just cut your tails whatever size you're wanting for your little girl. So y'all, there are all kinds of things that you can do. Definitely we'll be having more videos uploaded so that you guys can learn different steps, different kinds of material. I will be definitely doing one on Christmas bows very soon, so that you can learn how to make all those tree bows that you want to decorate your beautiful Christmas trees with, and then show you how it's easy for y'all to store them as well. So with all that being said, y'all please be sure to check out my Facebook page. It's Blessings with a Bow. Once again, I'm Bobby. I'm with Blessings with a Bow, and we're out of League City, Texas. We do thank each and every one of y'all for joining us and hopping on and viewing our page. Be sure to continue to follow us. Check out our events under our Facebook page. And be sure to keep track of us on YouTube, because there's going to be a lot more videos coming. So thank you guys again. God bless y'all. Take care. And we hope to see y'all back soon. All right. Take care, guys. Good night, everybody. Bye.